All right. Do you want to be loved? Well, to be more specifically, do you want Kickstarter to love your comic book project that you launch on the Kickstarter platform? Because if you do, then this is something that I think you're going to enjoy and enjoy watching, because this is a training that I had a request to talk about, and so I'm going to dive into it. Hey, everybody. Hope you're doing well. My name is Tyler James. I am the host of the Comics Launch Podcast, which is a show all about the mindset, strategies, and tactics for building audiences and launching awesome projects to them on Kickstarter. I'm also a publisher. I'm the publisher of Comics Tribe, which is a publisher of comics, graphic novels, children's books, toys, and more cool stuff. And I'm the founder of Comics Launch Pro, which is a training community and program that really helps creators do this stuff, build projects, build audiences, launch awesome things, and build creative businesses around the stuff that they were put on this planet to create. That's really what we do. And so I'm excited to dive into this topic. It was suggested by someone in the Comics Launch audience, really asked me to dive a little bit deeper on that Project We Love tag that gets applied to some Kickstarter projects. And so on this training, we're going to talk about the tag, what it is, what it isn't. I'm going to dispel a bunch of myths about the tag. There's a lot of noise and a lot of ways that people think it will do or won't do, or how it works or how it doesn't work. And so we're going to get some clarity on how it works. And then I'm going to wrap up with some tips for all those of you out there that, hey, want to get that tag applied to your project when you go and launch it on Kickstarter. So if that sounds good to you, I hope you stick it around and for the session. If you have specific questions about the Project We Love tag, and you want to leave a comment on them, go ahead and leave a comment and I'll try to address those. You can also shoot a voicemail if you think of one down the line to comicslaunch.com/voicemail. Now, if you are new to the Kickstarter platform, or if you've been at Kickstarter for a while and are looking to take your game to the next level, I encourage you to go grab a free resource that I put together. It's called the Comics Launch Roadmap. This is a roadmap to your first or next successful comic book Kickstarter. You can get that at comicslaunch.com/roadmap. And it's a quick read, but it should give you some actionable tips to level up your game, a part of which is getting your projects regularly slapped with the Kickstarter Project We Love tag. And so what I want to dive in right now is just talk about that tag. What is it and why is it important? Okay. So in terms of what is it, it is as simple as getting a tag. Kickstarter has a process that they go through where they will designate a percentage of projects on their platform with Project We Love. And so you can see right now on the Kickstarter platform, or actually to date, there have been 3,749 comic book projects that, of all the projects that have launched on Kickstarter, that have gotten that tag. And right now, and you can in the Kickstarter, if you go to Kickstarter Discovery Tool, you can select and sort by projects we love, and you can see that. You can see projects we love. You can find out and see all the ones that Kickstarter loves. Right now, there are 70 projects on the Kickstarter platform that are live right now, live and funding, that have the Project We Love tag. And so as you can scroll through, you can see some of those here. All right. So you can definitely follow along with me if you want to jump over on Kickstarter and take a look at that. But what it is, and you'll see all of these projects have Project We Love tagged on them. When you click on these projects, Athena Valtaire by Steve Bryant. Steve's a great creator, has been in this game for a while, making great stuff. But if you click on his project, you'll see that when it's live, it should have, I don't know why that didn't just pull up. Let me pull it up again and see if it comes up. So Kickstarter will give a little tag that goes onto your project. You'll see when it's live, it will be right here, and then this will become this will last and this tag will be there right next to your subcategory tag and your tag for where you are launching from. And that'll be there while your project is live, and then it'll also be there after the project is over. So congrats to Steve on this latest launch. Looks awesome. So what does it do? Well, the main thing, it does a couple of things. The first thing it does is it lets you be discovered as a project we love. But that's just a part of it. It gives you this tag. A tag is just a tag. But what it also does is it changes how your project will start showing up on the Kickstarter platform. But the most obvious thing that you'll see that you get this badge. But we're going to dive into all of the other things that it affects, because this is important, and it's a good thing to get, because the Project We Love tag and getting selected as a project that Kickstarter loves is one of the key factors for visibility on the Kickstarter platform. It is not the only factor, and that's very important, but it is one of the key factors. And so one of the things that was a question that I had that luckily, because of how transparency works on Kickstarter, it's pretty easy to go figure out. I was curious, what percentage of projects that launch on Kickstarter actually get that Project We Love tag? So first I looked at projects overall and found that a little under 48,000 projects since Kickstarter first launched or first started doing the Project We Love tag. I think this was a later edition, but about 48,000 projects have gotten that tag out of 515,000 or so that have launched. So that's about 9%. So less than 1%, 1 in 10 projects on the Kickstarter platform actually get this tag and that little bit of added boost on Kickstarter. Okay, so I thought that was pretty interesting. But I always take it another level deep and looked at comic projects. What percentage of comic projects get the Project We Love tag? Well, what was pretty interesting was that 37,785 in the comics category. Sorry, I was on comics. So 3,743 comics projects have gotten the tag out of over 18,038 projects that have launched on Kickstarter. So it comes out to be about 21% of comic projects have gotten this Project We Love tag. So more than your chances of getting the comics Project We Love tag is actually better than 1 in 5. So I thought that's cool. So, launching a project in comics, you actually you're more likely to get a Project We Love tag than in other categories. So I thought that was definitely cool. All right, so let's talk about this. And as we talk about it, we'll talk about the importance and how it works and other things. But I want to get a few misconceptions and myths knocked out of the way right away, okay? So the first myth that I want to tackle here is, there's a myth out there that there is a way or a formula that you can hack the Kickstarter algorithm and get the Project We Love tag every single time, okay? That you can hack the Project We Love tag. If you just hit the right combination of X, Y, and Z, you are automatically going to get the Project We Love tag. And you can trick the algorithm, okay? So that's a myth. It's not true. And the reason I know it's not true is because the Project We Love tag is actually applied not by an algorithm, it's applied by a human being or a small committee within Kickstarter of human beings. They actually keep track of projects that are in line or in consideration for the Project We Love tag. They do it via a spreadsheet. They meet about once a week to discover and to decide which ones are going to get that tag. And it is very much a manual decision point where 1 minute you'll be in the running and then you'll go up. And so what that also means is that just because you don't get a Project We Love like within the first 3 hours or first day of launching, that does not mean you won't get labeled as a Project We Love, because again, they're not making this decision every single day, at least they weren't as of a year ago when I had some insider information. So just to be clear, some of this information that I'm sharing is publicly available on Kickstarter, and some of it comes from actually an interview I did with the former comics platform lead, where we tried to get as much as we could out of her without violating any NDAs or anything like that, but just about how things actually worked behind the scenes. Okay, and so that's a combination of what you're getting here from me. And you'll also actually obviously get my own experience getting the Project We Love tag on a number of projects, and then also having a number of projects that didn't get it. Okay, but it's important to know that, you know, if you launched and you were really hoping for that tag and you're on day 2 and you haven't gotten it, know that that doesn't mean you won't get it. It's just that you haven't gotten it yet, and maybe they haven't gotten around to doing the next wave of Projects We Love. Okay. So another thing out there is there's a quota on how many projects that can be loved. And so if there's a lot of great projects going on at the same time, you might just get missed out because there's a quota. The truth is, there actually isn't a specific, there must be this number of projects that we love in this category at any given time. And so there is not a quota there. If there are more great projects that Kickstarter loves, they in a given month, they'll pick more. If there are less, they'll pick less. There is a quota on how many projects that Kickstarter can feature in their newsletter, for example. And there is a quota on how many in certain key spaces on the Kickstarter platform. So for example, you know, you go to Kickstarter homepage, there's going to be a recommended for you spot at the top. Well, there's room for 3 projects right here. Okay. And so there is a limit to how many can fit there, just like there's a limit to how many can fit on the homepage in the sequence here. Okay. So to an extent that there are some limits to how much can be shown or can be above the fold or other things, you know, there is a quota there, but there is not a specific Project We Love quota on Kickstarter. So that's good to know for all of us that are making really good projects, but also launching either in months where there's a lot of great projects and it's very competitive, or in months where there's just, you know, more projects than normal. If there's more projects than normal and they're awesome, Kickstarter is okay with liking and loving more projects. Okay. All right. Another myth out there, and this is the big one, is that getting the Project We Love tag will make or break your project. Okay. That's a myth. The Project We Love tag in and of itself, getting that label, is not going to make or break your project. Now, yes, projects that Kickstarter loves are more likely to fund, and they do tend to raise more money. But it's not. But the reasons for them being more likely to fund and the reasons for them raising more money are not strictly limited to and causality related to the Project We Love tag. Kickstarter itself says that a Project We Love badge is not the only secret to a project's success. And if you want an example of that, a great example would be the creator Brian Polito. Brian Polito creates Lady Death and a number of similar sort of, almost like 90s style bad girl comics, but has been in this game for 20 plus years, has built a big following for his stuff. And all of his projects tend to raise between $200,000 and $500,000, right? Almost never gets the Project We Love tag. He's got a project up there right now, closing in on 300K. Does not have the Project We Love tag, has not slowed him down an ounce. Okay. And so it's important to know that this is not just, on or off, and it's not worth launching if you don't get that tag. Remember, 4 out of 5 comic projects that launch are not going to get that tag. That's not to say that you can't be a repeat tag getter. James Aquilon says, all of my projects have gotten the We Love tag. I know the secret, but I'm not telling. Oh, James, you must know somebody over there. But congrats on that, James. I will say that it's not the make or break aspect of the campaign. But as I'll discuss as we go on, it is definitely something that you should aspire to, and it's something that you should make it so that all of your projects should be in the running and should be, tough not to give that tag. Let me see. Greg Lankard said, my comic Beowulf just got named a project we love. Reasons I think my comic book got chosen: 1, it's pretty wholesome. 2, it's funny. 3, it has a diverse cast. He says, some people were mad that my comic got named because it's not making as much money as theirs. I'm pretty sure that has nothing to do with it. Okay, great point, Grant, because you're correct. Another myth is that Project We Love tag is explicitly related to how much funding that you are going to raise, or you're likely to raise, or your project goal. Truth is, that's not a big factor at all in what the internal team looks at. And you can see, yes, there are projects raising 14K, 30K for Steve's project, 100K for the latest Control-Alt-Delete collection. But you don't have to scroll too far down to find some projects that are raising, $3,000, $2,000, around $1,000. It's fun scrolling through here because I see a bunch of Comics Launch Pro projects in here. So it's great to see. Ted Sikora just launched. So yes, you will see a lot of big projects, but you'll also see projects that aren't, blowing things out of the water in terms of a funding amount, and they can still get that Project We Love tag, and that's a good thing, because that is going to increase your visibility. All right, and so that's a nice thing that Kickstarter can do on our behalf. All right, so again, we're knocking down some myths here. Another myth is that once you get that Kickstarter Project We Love tag, you should expect to see a massive surge in funds and backing right away once you get that tag. The reality is that's just not the case, but it will help. Okay, it will help, but don't expect to suddenly see like a massive influx of game-changing funding that totally changes the trajectory of your Kickstarter campaign just because you get the Project We Love tag. Okay, I've got it a lot of times during my launches. It doesn't change the trajectory of where we're heading to a significant amount. All right. Now, another myth is that getting the Project We Love tag will directly attributably lead to a lot of funding. And so what you'll find is, like right here, this is a page that is all about projects we love. Kickstarter also has on their page some you can look for and you can click on the Project We Love tag on any page, and it will take you to more projects we love. And Kickstarter features projects we love, and so one of the things that Kickstarter will track is how much funding comes from the Projects We Love page when and if that's a place where people discovered you, Kickstarter will actually keep track of all the backers that came through that page. Now, last year in 2020, I launched 3 Kickstarter campaigns. 2 out of 3 got the Project We Love tag, and so the last 2 campaigns both got the Project We Love tag. On the Wailing Blade Kickstarter campaign, I looked at my backer data, and 0 pledges and $0 came from the Projects We Love discovery tool. Nothing came through there. It wasn't listed. And then for the C is for Cthulhu campaign, which we launched last year, that also had a Project We Love. We got 5 pledges, $140, amounted to less than half of a percentage of our total backers came through that Project We Love discovery tag. Sorry about the dog in the background. So that being said, okay, a lot of creators might see that and then jump in and say, well, the Project We Love tag on Kickstarter actually is a bunch of hype, is all noise, and it's not worth anything. And that makes sense, right? Like if you go and you look at it, and it's like, oh, I got 2 pledges, I got 3 pledges, I got no pledges directly from that Project We Love tag, then it makes sense that you would think, hey, this isn't worth anything. However, that is also a myth. That is not true, because it's not simply people discovering you on this Projects We Love page that is a part of the power of the Projects We Love page. Because remember, there are a lot of ways that Kickstarter can, a lot of things Kickstarter can do for creators when you're in the middle of a launch to help you promote. They can share your project on the homepage, right? You can share on the homepage. You can share on your category main page. So you go to the comics and illustrations category or whatever your category is. Well, there's a main page there as well. And it has all these big, it has projects that they're sharing here, right? Near the top of the fold. They can share in their newsletter. They can share on social media. They can share within its network. And in terms of, showing up on like when other backers or when other projects share updates, sometimes at the bottom of those updates, Kickstarter will recommend other projects, similar projects that people are backing. And so there's a lot of ways that Kickstarter can promote and feature and make your project visible. And when the algorithm is determining who gets in these awesome spots, who gets to be this featured project, who gets to be right in the recommended for you sections, who gets to be at the top of comic books here, at the top of the graphic novels subcategory, at the top of the webcomic subcategory, at the top of the anthology subcategory. These are all prime positions. And almost all of these projects tend to be projects that are projects we love. So right here, 2 out of 3 of these projects are projects we love right now, and the top 2 are projects we love. You come down here, all 3 of these in the Explore Comics at the top are projects we love. All of these projects we love, all of these projects we love, etc. And so in terms of visibility on Kickstarter, not just in the one little subcategory that is projects we love, actually you showing up and being recommended in all the other subcategories on Kickstarter goes up significantly when you are a project that they love. And so if you're trying to figure out and attribute, what really, where your backers came from, if you did get a lot of backers from Kickstarter and you were also a project that Kickstarter loved, a lot of that is going you can owe a lot of that extra visibility to the fact that you were selected there. Now, it is important to know that that's not the only thing that helps your visibility on Kickstarter. Kickstarter says that they use algorithms to surface popular projects, projects your friends have backed and launched, projects that are recommended just for you, projects that are getting traction as a result of creators advertising and doing other promotion strategies. They also, based on your search terms, your browsing history, cookies, projects backing, and other things like that, visits to your website or other similar projects. So the algorithm doesn't only factor in that. And so, for example, this project right here, Dragonfly, it's not a project we love, but it is showing up high on my recommendation engine. And so that might be for some of those other reasons. Maybe this project has other projects that I've backed in the past. A lot of those backers have backed this project, and that's making that surface. So again, most creators are not going to get the Project We Love tag every time. I don't get the Project We Love tag every time, and I teach creators how to get the Project We Love tag. It's not something that I have control over, or you have absolute control over, and it's not fatal to a Kickstarter campaign, but it does help. All right. And so, so one of the questions that we then turn to is, okay, given all of this, we dispelled the maths. We know that it is valuable. It's more valuable than just the direct pledges that come from the Project We Love page. We know all of that. But what can we do? And we also know that we don't have total control over it. But what can we do to increase the likelihood that we get the project we love tag? Well, first, I want to just cover what Kickstarter has said and says publicly about this. And then we'll also talk about, I'll share some of my own takes and some of the insider information that I got. But Kickstarter says that, and this is a quote, they say, there are many factors that we take into consideration before featuring a project on the homepage or giving it a Project We Love badge. This includes, but is not limited to, does the project have, 1, a crisp project image with no logos, badges, or text on top? All right. 2, a clear, detailed project description that includes a thorough plan for completing your project. 3, captivating images or videos. 4, an excited community. 5, what we think different users will be interested in. And 6, a lot of creativity. So some of that stuff is very specific. Some of that stuff is very loosey-goosey. Kickstarter also says that it's going to feature projects here at the top of the homepage and here, over here. They're featuring top projects with creative innovation, honesty, and alignment with Kickstarter's mission and charter. Kickstarter, unlike a lot of platforms and businesses out there, is a for-benefit corporation. It's a special designation of corporation where they do have a social mission, a mission for good, a mission on the planet for good. There are certain issues or causes or other things that Kickstarter aligns itself with. There are values that Kickstarter has that it wants to see reflected and that it will reflect through the projects that it chooses to feature. All right. And so one of the things that the former project lead of comics told me is that Kickstarter really does not want the Project We Love tag to be this formulaic thing. And so that's why the idea of hacking the Project We Love tag, hacking the algorithm to get it is a little bit bunk. Like, they don't want this to be just a paint by numbers thing. But she also said that Kickstarter wants to lift up original voices, highlight projects that have social good, that have a mission, and also just really, if your project is innovative or creative or something that is providing something new to the market, that's going to really boost the chances of it surfacing. Alternatively, if your project comes across as, the sort of generic superhero project or just a generic cookie cutter, like nothing that stands out about it, it may have a more difficult time surfacing on the Kickstarter platform as a project that they love. And so one of the questions someone asked is, is there a reason why Brian Polito has never gotten a Projects We Love tag? And what I would say to that, Matt, and I don't have a specific thing for him, Kickstarter totally understands that, he has his audience and it's dialed in and does a great job getting them out for every single launch. I think to a certain extent, they realize that he absolutely does not need it. But one of the things that they also said is that projects with excessive violence, that are excessively salacious, or don't necessarily, or aren't exactly sort of all ages appropriate, or conducive to a broad audience, are probably going to get less extra visibility on Kickstarter's behalf. So, for example, anyone that hits the Kickstarter website, right, is going to see all of this stuff right here. You hit the Kickstarter website, you're going to see this. It'll be customized somewhat to the backer, his or herself, but it's still Kickstarter's homepage. And so Kickstarter is going to be a lot less likely to feature busty women at the very top of their on the very top of their homepage, or an excessively violent image or an excessively sexy image. It's just it's a little bit too salacious for Kickstarter itself. And so that's part of the reason why I assume that Kickstarter does not tend to feature projects like Brian Polito, who, you know, is sort of definitely in that 90s bad girl cleavage and violence mold that there's big audiences for, and they do well, but they're doing well despite getting heavy push from Kickstarter. Okay. And so another thing that's important is that you are going to try to do things to help set yourself apart on the Kickstarter platform. And it's important to understand that it's the Kickstarter staff that's picking this, and the staff is picking this by scrolling through the Kickstarter platform just like anyone else. And so the same things that I teach on Comics Launch and inside of Comics Launch Pro, the same things that we teach to get your project noticed and to jump out for the general audience is stuff that's going to work for the Kickstarter staff itself. In the comics category especially, gorgeous art is going to get you noticed. All right, gorgeous art is going to get you noticed. Another thing that does help is having a track record of delivering and having some acclaim or some a bit of a following. And so there are creators, you know, Tim Buckley from Control Alt Delete. This is good art here and everything, but he is also bringing, I don't know, 15, 20 years of delivering for an audience and of an audience to the Kickstarter platform. And the platform does take that into account. All right, they will take into account and so if you're an industry veteran or you're someone that has been in this game for a while, that's going to help you stand out as well. And it's also going to help increase the odds that you're going to get a project launched. And so if you don't get Kickstarter, the tag that Kickstarter loves you the first time at bat, what I'm going to do is encourage you to do is keep launching on Kickstarter, keep launching projects, launch again and again, keep delivering for your backers, because eventually you will get it. All right. You know, here, Clay Adams is someone with the Fried Comics team. They've been delivering for backers for years now. And now their projects are getting loved more and more. All right. Another thing that Kickstarter does call out that I don't see as enforced as much here, but Kickstarter says that they don't like a lot of text in your project image. In fact, they prefer there's no text, like this Athena Voltaire image right here. They prefer there's no text in it versus this one that had like, they also prefer you don't add the Projects We Love badge to your Kickstarter project image because look, it's redundant. And so even logos, they prefer not. And when it comes to Kickstarter's newsletter, they will not include your project in their newsletter if it has copy, even a logo. Like, so this one right here, Miracles, it's by Joe Glass, doing great, getting featured, but this probably will not be in Kickstarter's newsletter unless they're able to get from Joe another image, or they can pull another image from his Kickstarter page that works really great, that doesn't have copy on it. And so that's just something to consider as well. They don't want to see that redundant information though. So again, if you get the Projects We Love tag, you don't need to throw the Projects We Love tag on the image because again, it's going to have it right with it. Another thing that's a quick tip for you getting your project selected, make sure, and this is especially for the comics category, make sure you credit your full creative team, highlight your full creative team inside of the project page. That is something that they are nitpicky about. And the big thing is that when you're a project that Kickstarter loves, they're trying to do this not just to promote these projects, but to also establish and to provide a bank of easily researchable projects that future creators can go and look at and say, hey, this is what Kickstarter loves. And so what Kickstarter loves you doing is using the platform. And so you're going to want to have a video. You're going to want to have good copy. You're going to want to have compelling images all throughout your page. You're going to want to have enough characters and enough description and enough, transparency about how your project's going to work and how you're going to fulfill and deliver, and all of the stuff that we hammer on that go into a great Kickstarter project, you want to use that. You're going to be far less likely to get a Project We Love tag if your project is something that you throw up in an hour and you don't do a lot of copy and you don't include a lot of images and you don't take the time to do a video. Okay. And so all of those things, understand that Kickstarter is trying to reward good behavior, and good behavior on Kickstarter is really using the platform. Now, inside my program, the Comics Launch course, inside of Comics Launch Pro, we have a Kickstarter page design blueprint. It's the same blueprint that I've used to get all my projects that have the Project We Love tag, and many creators have used it as well. And I stress, don't recreate the wheel. Use a blueprint, use a format that works, and stick to it, and take that extra time and love on your Kickstarter page. Because remember, once you launch, that page is going to be working for you 24/7 for the entirety of your launch as your salesman. And so you wouldn't want to dress a salesman up in a cheap suit. You want to make them look like Don Draper going out there and selling for you. Okay. So there you have it. Those are the things that you can do to increase the likelihood that it's a project we love. And then obviously the last thing is either have a project that has a special meaning above and beyond just the story itself. And so, you can find examples of projects that have sort of a social component to it, or a social good component, or are going to just add either highlighting new voices or talking about issues or causes that matter to you and matter to the world and make the world a better place. That is not absolutely required, but it will help you when it comes time to get your project in the running for Project We Love. All right. So couple of checking in. Let's see. Do projects we love, Frank Martin says, do projects we love get featured more frequently in Kickstarter automated emails, such as recommendations and a confirmation email? And do those clicks count as a Project We Love backer in Kickstarter tracking? So absolutely, yes, they do, Frank, but they probably would not count as a Project We Love backer. They would probably count as coming from recommended in the update or whatever that specific is. It'll always be like the most direct thing that they can do. And so as we said, Kickstarter, the chances and the likelihood that your project will be selected to get one of those limited spots, either higher on the home page or in the recommendation, whether or not you are a Project We Love really does dramatically boost the chances that you're going to get one of those extra promotional spots. But it doesn't mean that when someone clicks on that spot, that it's going to attribute that as a Project We Love to go into your funding. And so in a sense, when Kickstarter reports where all your funding is coming from, the power of the Project We Love tag is probably underreported because it is a factor, but it's not the only factor. But it is still a big factor. James says, one thing I feel is that they now give so many projects the tag that it's not worth as much. That may be the case. As we say, comics is the category with the highest, and it does seem like they are giving more out than usual. So if that is the case, then doing those other things like blowing up your funding, getting more people to back, getting more people, getting more engagement on your page, your own external activities, that in combination with the Project We Love tag becomes even more powerful. So if you are just relying on the Project We Love tag to determine your visibility, projects that have that tag and are doing all that other stuff are probably going to outperform you in that as well. All right. All right. So to sum up here, though, I want to just finish up and wrap this up because I hope we dispelled some myths. But in summary, you should always be shooting for making a project that Kickstarter loves. But do that. And to do that, you need to make a project that you love and that your audience loves. if you do those two things, if you make a project that you are in love with, that you're passionate about, and a project that your audience can really get behind, the chances that Kickstarter is going to love it too shoot through the roof. All right. Know that in comics overall, 1 out of 5 projects have gotten the Project We Love tag, and 1 out of 10 projects thereabouts have get the Project We Love tag on Kickstarter overall. So your odds are actually pretty good. You know, it's not like a lottery ticket. It's pretty good. But also know that most projects are not going to get the tag. So it's not a make or break, and it's not the end of the world if your project doesn't get it this time around. Also know that even the best of the best out there don't usually get the Project We Love tag every time. I don't get the Project We Love tag every single time. It does seem a little bit like a crapshoot for me. That, you know, one of the projects that I launched earlier or last year, it was like the best page I've ever designed. It was the most backed that we've ever got. Didn't get the Project We Love tag. Who knew? But that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. And so I don't spend much time at all outside of just making an awesome project page and running an awesome campaign, worrying about what Kickstarter is going to do for me on visibility. All right. I am focused on what I can do 100% of the time, because ultimately you and I can't control who's getting the tag. So there's no point in obsessing about it. But let's be real. It is a cool bonus when it does happen. And it is a reason to celebrate and share with your backers and share with the world when you do get that tag, because it's always nice to be loved. All right. Hope that helps. Hope you got some tips and some tricks and some mindset here that will help you move your next project forward. Hope you get that Project We Love tag on your next launch. And I can't wait to see it when it's live on Kickstarter. Take care.